Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Kavanaugh's Corner. Today on the show, I am very excited to bring you a review of what is quite possibly one of my favorite films of all time. I definitely say it's right up there. As somebody who's originally from New England, this is a movie that has a very special place in my heart. And as you can see, I've got my 40th anniversary shirt on. Now it's the 45th anniversary. My God, time goes fast, but time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But this is the new 45th anniversary edition, the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of Jaws, the original blockbuster classic, the film that still makes audiences afraid to go in the water. Here it is. This is the lenticular cover version. I did not get the steelbook for this one just because I kind of like this better, ironically enough. You have that lenticular cover there that kind of moves. I don't know if you can see it, but I really like that. And the box is actually kind of neat as well. You can see there's the girl swimming there, and there's her eventual fate. But I really like this. This is the set here. I like the set here. This is the little case for the discs here, and it has the 4K on one side and the Blu-ray on the other. Now I actually have the older Blu-ray as well, and this is actually possibly a new disc. This set here is actually got a new covering on it, but I really like the little buoy thing there. That's really cool. And again, of course, here's the 4K. It also comes with a digital copy. And it actually also comes with a little booklet here, which is really cool, of a bunch of details. There's poor Chrissy getting murdered. But it has a lot of little details and photographs and stuff like that. It's a nice book, and it's a nice little addition to this set. It's a very cool set overall. I think the number one thing, though, that you guys are kind of waiting for is, how is the picture quality? How is the picture quality on this? And the thing that's great is this is a new 4K transfer. This is a transfer that was actually done way back when the Blu-ray came out years ago. And that transfer now has been upticked with HDR. And this disc is actually packed full of stuff. I mean, this has got HDR10, HDR10 Plus, and Dolby Vision. I watched it in Dolby Vision. And also it has a new Dolby Atmos surround track. So that Dolby Atmos, that immersive soundtrack, is also on this. I watched it with the new soundtrack. And first with the picture quality, I have to say, I would have been really upset if they screwed this up. I would have been really, really mad. But I am very glad to say they did not screw it up. Universal did an excellent job, as they have been. I have very rarely seen a 4K Blu-ray from Universal that didn't, wasn't, a home run. I'm sure there are a few. I know the Bourne Identity movies are not really very good, but for the most part, they've done a pretty good job, especially Steven Spielberg's films. Well, the Jurassic Park movies looked really good. Schindler's List was excellent on 4K, and now we have the original. Now we have Jaws, and I have to say, this looks awesome. This looks absolutely awesome. They did a great job with it. I think really the number one thing to say about this is that this is not a mind-blowing new transfer here. If you've seen the Blu-ray, you know this movie looks great, and that Blu-ray is nothing to sneeze at, and the Blu-ray included here again, it looks fine. It looks great on Blu-ray. It's not like a horrible thing on Blu-ray. The one big uptick we get with this is definitely colors and detail. That is the two biggest things we get with this. Now, the color palette is not changed extremely in this. This isn't like a whole new color palette. The whole movie looks different. It's still pretty much the Jaws that you remember. But the colors are just a little more vibrant now. They have a little more pop to it. They look natural, but they don't look like completely ridiculous and crazy. There's not a lot of wild colors in this film. It's very earthy colors, very beautiful sunset, blue water. It's very, very natural. It's a natural color palette, but it now looks better than ever. Detail level on this is also through the roof. You can actually read the wine bottle labels now in that memorable scene where Roy Scheider is getting wasted and he's talking with Richard Dreyfuss, and Lorraine Gary is there, and they're having that conversation at the dinner table. It's a wild amount of details you see in this. Fibers on the rope near the end of the film. I'm talking really, really minute things, but you can see them now more than ever. It's so apparent now, the detail level. It's a great, great transfer. There is film grain in this. This was shot on film, and after all, this is 1975. But the film grain is never to the point where it's extraordinarily heavy. It's not distracting at all. But I'm just really glad that Universal did not, use any kind of digital noise reduction to an extreme degree. The movie is crystal clear still. Only now you get a much more vibrant color palette. You get a much more deeper level of resolution. You get that detail level that's way higher. It's just, again, it's a great, great transfer. I think the only thing to mention about the transfer is that because of the new HDR color palette, there are scenes that are darker. They are naturally darker, but that is the high dynamic range able to do that. It's able to give you deeper blacks, but also you can see a lot better in the shadows versus before where you couldn't. So they had to lighten the whole picture. Now you actually get the proper picture level, and it works. It works great. This also has a Dolby Atmos track now. The old Blu-ray had a 7.1 DTS HD master audio. This actually has a new Dolby Atmos immersive track. And this Dolby Atmos track is fantastic. I did not have any issues with leveling. I didn't have to pump it up a lot. The audio was great. I think the number one thing about this disc that is incredible is the fact that this is a movie from 1975, and still somehow that transfer to Dolby Atmos from a mono track, from a 2.0 mono as it originally was released, that sound is incredible still. The dialogue is crystal clear. The music, oh, the music. Don't even get me started on the music, man. John Williams, being the genius that he is, those memorable notes that just jump right at you. I mean, it is just such a great soundtrack. Now it just swells and it fills your home. It is a great, great soundtrack. And again, that new Dolby Atmos really, really ups the ante in terms of that. Also, I mean, the sound effects in the film also sound pretty good. Not crazy about the fact that they altered some of the sound effects in the last sound mix, but it's okay. It works. I never really find it extremely distracting. I do find it interesting, though, that when the shark blows up at the end and it's sinking into the water, they actually kind of lightened like the dinosaur roar at the end, that weird thing when the shark is sinking. It actually seems to be a little harder to hear now, ironically enough. I don't know if Spielberg was like, maybe we should turn it down, but I think it was actually kind of a good thing that they kind of turned it down, because I always thought that was really wacky. But again, other than that, I think the audio on this thing is just as great as the video. It really complements each other, and they did a fabulous job. I think they did a fabulous job. Now, the other thing I want to mention is that another big thumbs up for Universal for me is the fact that they actually put a bunch of special features right on the 4K disc. So the real big special features, the couple documentaries about the making of the movie, they have an older making of documentary, and they have a newer one that kind of focuses on the making of and the legacy of the film. That's called The Shark Is Still Working, which is a great documentary. I've actually seen it in the past, but it's great to have it now all on the 4K disc along with some other things. There's a great featurette about the restoration of the film as well. You learn a lot about how much goes into restoring one of these older films. It's incredible the amount of work that goes into it, and those guys do not get nearly enough credit. So definitely check that out if you pick this up. But other than that, I mean, the rest of the special features are on the standard Blu-ray that's included. I highly, highly recommend you pick up Jaws on 4K. This is a monumental release for the format. I think this is one of the best there is, honestly. And again, you can pick this up, I think, at Best Buy and Amazon right now for like 20 bucks. It's well worth it. It is just a steal at $20, honestly. And the fact that you get the whole set here is pretty great, too. So anyway, that's all for today for Kavanaugh's Corner. Until next time, I wish you guys all the best. Please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel to see more stuff like this. Until then, take it easy.